We've talked quite a bit about the Archie Sonic comics on this channel, and it looks like videos on that series might not be stopping anytime soon here. But contrary to popular belief, there exists another long-running Sonic comic series that is pretty well known in the fanbase. Between 1993 to 2002, in the cursed land of England, existed Sonic the Comic, a long-running series focused on Sonic and his friends, the Freedom Fighters, stopping Dr. Robotnik, who has taken over a significant portion of the world known as Mobius. Now doesn't that sound familiar? Similar to the Archie Sonic comics, the series initially began with lighthearted stories that eventually evolved into an ongoing story/lore-driven series. It even featured various elements from the US Sonic lore and recent Sonic games at that time. Sonic the Comic even featured zones from Sonic 1 and 2 as reoccurring locations within the series, mostly the latter. However, when Sonic the Comic is brought up, there are two things mentioned in the general conversation: Super Sonic, the series' most popular character, and Sonic's seemingly out-of-character personality. Fleetway Sonic has been criticized for essentially being a jerk toward his friends through multiple out-of-context panels. Because of this, many do not understand the genius behind his so-called flawed interpretation, and how it may be one of the best interpretations of Sonic ever. In this video, we'll be looking at how his interactions with his friends add to the humor of the series, his relatability to the reader, and how his personality changed over time. It's pretty easy to miss that Fleetway Sonic has an odd sense of humor, to say the least, that can easily be interpreted as being a jerk when it comes to his interactions with his friends. The comic clearly shows that Sonic does care for his friends despite his name calling. An example that comes to mind for me is Amy Rose. The writers clearly play off Sonic's constant quips against her advances as simple jokes. In the Sonic CD story adaptation, while Sonic does make comments about essentially not saving Amy, he still battles Metal Sonic and saves her life. Those aforementioned comments that could easily be made out of context have a different meaning when that context is put into place. Sonic is just making jokes, not being a jerk. How about his best friend Tails? I always see this image of Sonic supposedly being mean to Tails from Sonic the Comic issue 33. But have you always wondered what the next panel is? Well, wouldn't you believe that? Sonic explicitly says that he is just joking. We even get a moment with Tails saving Sonic later down this issue. While Sonic's jokes are somewhat mean-spirited, I still think that these jokes land due to how well written they are. Unlike the usual meta-humor jokes that the series is infamous for at this point, thanks to the writing in Sonic the Comic, the jokes flow a lot more organically within the dialogue. Yeah, they're not gonna spark a Lamau LOL type moment, they'll most likely give you a good chuckle. While Sonic's jokes are lighthearted and fun even with context, he can get a bit overboard, sometimes not realizing to slow down and stop when things get a little too over his head. Fleetway Sonic isn't a perfect individual, and that's okay. While there are other versions of Sonic that are flawed in more ways than one, Fleetway frequently does step over the line of being a jerk numerous times. It isn't his entire personality, but when he does go over, his friends are there to stop him. Fleetway being this flawed hero adds an extra dimension toward his character. He has such a huge ego, and having this Achilles heel toward his character makes him more interesting, almost in a weird yin and yang situation for him. Issue 76's main story, The Big Decision, Porker Lewis quits the team due to what he had experienced from the helm of the Brotherhood of Metallics, and Sonic is not having it at all, believing that Porker is just too soft for this team. Sonic is immediately criticized for his actions. Amy even points out that Sonic doesn't have the right to criticize him, since he doesn't know what Porker had gone through. At the end of the story, Porker saves Sonic's life by electrocuting these trooper robots and apologizes for what he said earlier in the story. Sonic here gets criticized for being too harsh on Porker and then pays the price for his words. The fact that Sonic experiences actual consequences that have some sort of weight helps build his character. Other examples of Sonic being flawed to the core are in issues 51 and 52, where Amy calls out Sonic for being insensitive and stubborn toward his supposed long-lost brother. His stubbornness in this example does save his friends and his long-lost bro, which was none other than one of Robotnik's schemes. Fleetway Sonic being a flawed character allows him to be relatable to the reader. Characters that overcome obstacles and have conflicts within these stories relate to the reader because, let's be real, we aren't perfect. Fleetway Sonic isn't perfect. Do the math. I think this character approach and archetype is incredibly interesting, considering the current state of Sonic's quote-unquote personality feels so fake and corporate. Sega really tries to present Sonic as if he's some sort of perfect character, devoid of any flaws, thanks to the mandates established near the 2010s. Looking at those mandates from Sega, there is a mandate that's very interesting, in that Sonic isn't allowed to lose or fail. Removing this ability towards Sonic is a hindrance in making the character somewhat interesting. Multiple iterations of the character prove that Sonic taking losses helps establish drama, unique character development, and world building. Even Sega tried this despite their mandates with 2017's Sonic Forces. Emphasis on the word tried. Through the use of losing, Fleetway's personality truly changes for the better. Fleetway can take L's and it works in his favor through character development. Near the latter half of the series run, Sonic suffers the most within the comic. While yes, he suffered a lot within the series before, Robotnik took over the world early into the series, Sonic has a psychotic killer literally living rent-free within his head, and much more. How could things really get this bad for him? I bring attention towards issue 128, Robotnik reigns supreme. Dr. Robotnik absorbs the power of the Chaos Emeralds and essentially becomes a god, zapping Sonic into an alternate universe. Not only where Robotnik was successful in taking over the world, but Sonic never existed. When Robotnik explains to Sonic that without his existence, not only did the Freedom Fighters fail to exist, but Tails freaking dies. This line alone breaks Sonic as the issue ends with this single panel. Sonic collapsing on the ground as Robotnik laughs at him, knowing for a fact that he has truly defeated his greatest adversary. However, even with the odds against him, Sonic still perseveres to the end and defeats Robotnik through nothing more than his sheer will and belief that he can always overcome what Robotnik can dish out. No power of teamwork speech, just Sonic doing his best to prove Robotnik wrong, no matter what it will cost. But what if our blue boy encountered something that couldn't really be defeated? Something that Sonic would have to live with for the rest of his life. One of Sonic the Comic's final story arcs is none other than the Sonic Adventure game adaptation. From issues 175 to 184, we get to see a unique but outstanding tie-in story to the Dreamcast title. Did you know that Sonic only gets his green eyes for his adventure redesign in the series? Weirdly enough, it's Chaos who gives him the new look. In part 2, Sonic and Co. use a new invention by Porker to defeat Chaos. Only problem is that the device isn't even connected, and it's up to them to face Chaos's fear-inducing powers to connect the gizmo and take the water monster out. Johnny Lightfoot, one of the Freedom Fighters, successfully connects the machine at the cost of his life. Throughout the rest of this arc, Sonic repeatedly blames himself for Johnny's death, believing that he's been an idiot for risking his life and never taking into consideration that his friends could lose their lives too. Sonic temporarily leaves the Freedom Fighters, but later returns, eventually coping with Johnny's death and learning to move on with his life. and deal with whatever problems arise head on. Fleetway Sonic can be a jerk, but from what you see in these panels aren't the full picture of this dynamic character. His jerk quips can be quite funny in the context of their usage. Sonic can be a jerk, but he's rightfully called out when he crosses the line, and perfectly encapsulates the traits of a tragic hero with relatable flaws for the audience. Fleetway Sonic is truthfully one of the better interpretations of Sonic when you really get the time to understand this version of the character and his world. Thank you for watching today's video. If you like what you saw, make sure to like the vid, run up those comments, subscribe to the channel, and share it to your friends. Check out the Discord server and other links in the description below too as well. I also stream, so peep the streams when they're up, and check out this channel for some epic stream highlights and lore surrounding the streams. Yes, there is lore surrounding my YouTube streams, don't ask. Hope to see you all in the next Strikester video or live stream.